So here we are. This is the Lemur app. If you don't know what the Lemur is, it stands for less is more. This is Shane Monahan, the man created the app, the one that's pulling the red now here. But my name is Paddy Holohan. I used to fight in the UFC. I'm now retired from the UFC. It's a long story.
We might get into that later on.
We'll make it into that later on, yeah. But I've been fighting for about 10 years. So the last year, I think year and a half now, I've actually been on the other side of life. So I've opened the gym now. I'm in the middle of creating kind of my second gym now, Straight Blast Gym, Dublin 24, which is my own venture. So I've been part of a lot of gyms being created, martial arts facilities for kids all the way up to adults. This is my first one on my own. So I was looking at getting into a podcast kind of thing, or the idea of being able to record. So many different ways going on now with vlogs and blogs, and to me I found that kind of wasn't for me. But the audio thing I've been using on all different kind of apps like WhatsApp and stuff like that. I've been using the walkie-talkie, if you must call it. So I've been kind of doing it for a while now, and then Shane came up with the Lemur app, and straight away I was hooked. It was a great idea. So it's the idea of being able to create DIY podcasts or social audio on the go. So you could be in your car, you could be just finished the session in the gym, and you don't have to write a big long status. And like me, most of the time my phone goes dead or something like that, and it disappears. So what I'm doing going forward is being a mixed martial arts fighter and being a coach of MMA. Some of it will be about MMA. I'll be able to come in and ask me questions, and I'll be able to answer questions vocally rather than just comments and stuff like that. So the idea of what I'm trying to do with this is I come across loads of interesting people. So people that are from all different walks of life, not just the mixed martial arts. So we could have guys that are mountain climbers, guys that are explorers, guys that are doctors, guys that have been in the fire brigade in the New York City Fire Department. And my idea is to get these guys in and ask them some questions. And get some of the guys that people want to ask questions, but they don't really feel comfortable asking them. So I've kind of came up with the name of this little section's going to be called No Shame. So I'm going to have the guts, if you must, to ask some people some questions that other people wouldn't. I think with what's going on in the world now, a lot of fake news with Facebook and stuff like this is it's very important to kind of get the facts now, because you can read something and all of a sudden you send it to your mate and it becomes toxic and it becomes information that flies around, if you must. We might have to need subtitles on this as well for our American friends out there. So far the app is starting to grow. I can see the kind of the wheels starting to turn on it, people starting to come on their own regard, and I've been listening to some of the podcasters that have been around, and they're surprisingly really entertaining that is on it already. So some of the guys that are on it, a lot of American guys and a lot of American women have got on it, and they're just literally telling the story of the day. So it's just like a vlog, if you must. What's this called? A tlog?
A tlog. Lemur cast. I know. I think as time goes on, the users themselves will probably develop. You know, you have people calling it blogs, you have people calling it podcasts, you have people calling it lemurs. You know, and that's the exciting thing about it, because that name will grow as the product grows as well. You know.
Yeah. So we were on the end of it. Do you want to unlock this one? So this is kind of the introduction of it, and we're just going to continue on with the conversation, but we're just going to put it on the Lemur profile now. So
yeah. So
what I do is I just click onto the app, click onto the record, and you've just entered into the conversation now. So we're recording. So first of all, I'll ask Shane. So Shane is the creator of Lemur. Shane asked me, who did I want to interview first, and I said him, because Shane's an ex-rugby player. He played rugby professionally, and now he's on to a different part of his life as well. I think me and Shane kind of met at the same kind of part in life, where we were both coming out of something that we've done for a very, very, very long time, and now we're kind of like into the wilderness now. Yeah. We got kicked off the bus. So
I'm not ready to get off.
I'm not ready to go yet. Like you never are. But we're kind of going on a different path in life at the same time. But and the Lemur thing, as I said, was something I wanted to get into. I wanted to get into doing a podcast and stuff like that, because I get so many questions. This is a really good way for me to answer questions. Yeah. Now, we'll take no Floyd Mayweather questions here just yet, but I get millions of them. I get questions about all sorts of things. I once got a question, as if you know me, I'm from a town called Tallaght. I'm very proud of where I'm from. If you do know me, you're going to say, yeah, we know. Because everyone knows I'm from Tala. But I've had questions where guys have texted me about, they listen to this, right? He asked me, do you know where you can recycle female clothing, Paddy, in Tala? I don't know.
That's an interesting question.
One of the most random questions you'll probably ever hear, but I get them all. But we're gonna.
Before you continue, did you have an answer?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
No, not the way it was out. Not the way it was recycling female clothing. So many different questions that I get in. They could be anything. But as I said, the name of the show that going forward is going to be called No Shame. So we're going to ask some people some questions. They're not going to know the questions. Shane looks a bit nervous here. Yeah. He looks a little bit nervous here. No, we won't go too far, but we are going to get down that road of it. So, first of all, the conspiracy. Shane told me this before, but it didn't click as the light bulb moment happened here just a minute ago. So I'll let Shane explain what the conspiracy is about.
Yeah, the conspiracy. Right. Lemur, Paddy, you've done a fantastic explanation of what Lemur is from your own point of view, which is great to hear. And you gave me a great phrase a while ago. You're a black belt in talking, and you're going to be a black belt in Lemur by the end of it as well. I suppose I'm a black belt in explaining the product at this stage myself because it's my own brainchild and that kind of thing. So I'll give you a little background of how I came up with the idea in the first place. A little bit about me. I won't go into that too much, but you alluded to it already. My background as a professional rugby player for 10 years or so. Started here in Leinster. Went to Connacht for a year. I was in Rotherham in the UK for a year. Then I was with Gloucester in the Premiership in the UK. And then most recently I was with Munster during the World Cup. That was about over a year ago now. It's mad how quick time flies.
Yeah, it is crazy.
While I was in Leinster, I did a degree in product design, and I'm putting it into action 7 or 8 years later. So preparation, yeah. I wanted to ease into it. But my last year in Gloucester, like at Christmas time, we'd always be playing matches around, Stevenson's Day, so you'd get very little time off. So I'd literally be home, fly home to Ireland 24 hours, 48 hours back again. So I was at home. I was having a chat with my dad. I'm from Drogheda, which is just up the road from Dublin, about an hour up the road, and my dad's big into local business and that kind of thing. He's involved in different committees and groups, and they do great community work, but no one knows about it, and he was getting a bit frustrated. He says, we do all this stuff and no one knows about it, and we need people to know so we can improve things, etc., etc. And he used to write loads of letters to the papers to try and tell people. 9 times out of 10 they don't get published, and even when they do, they're gone after 24 hours. And that's why mainstream media is dying, really, because they can't compete with the likes of a podcast or a video or anything like that, because once it's up and you can always access it, which is a lot harder to do that way.
And you can roll it much faster as well.
Exactly. So he was like, well, is there anything we can do, Shane? I was like, yeah, there is. You can make a podcast. And my dad was like, great, what's a podcast? So I had to explain to him what a podcast was, and he says, that sounds great, Shane, how do I do it? So I said, well, if you want to do it right, Dad, you're going to have to get yourself headphones, a microphone, a laptop or a desktop, editing software, find a web host, set up your social media accounts, yada, yada, yada. And he was like...
That's what slowed you down. What idea?
Too much information, not interested.
Too big of a list.
And that's when I got the idea. I was like, Jesus, wouldn't it be great if there was an app for someone like my dad or anyone? They literally just open it up, say what you want to say, hit share, and you're done. So it removes those barriers to entry, and the term less is more came to mind, and that's where the name Lemur comes from. Less is more, which just so happens to sound like the word lemur, so it's a plain words of the lemur animal, which is where our branding comes from. Who doesn't like a lemur, And getting on to your original question about the conspiracy, what Lemur is it's not a podcast app, it's a new social media platform, specifically a social audio platform. So think, Twitter is text, Instagram images, Snapchat, YouTube video, Facebook a little bit of everything, but specifically for audio isn't there yet. Mm-hmm. And that's what Lemur is. So we're creating a new social media community. This is about 6 months in to creating a name. I was like, right, we have a new community, a collective of people, if you will. What is a collective of lemurs in the wild? So straight onto Google, what is the collective noun for lemurs, and conspiracy came up. So
that's brilliant.
I was just like, marketing gold, thank you, that was unbelievable. So It works on two levels, a lot of levels. Is, you know, one, we are a conspiracy to conquer the world of social audio, and that's our group collective is the conspiracy. So once you download the Lemur app, you join the Lemur conspiracy.
That's it. The thing I'm excited about for when it really, really kicks off and stuff like that is I'd love to hear some people maybe trash talking on on Lemur, you know what I mean? I'd love to hear some opinions that go back and forward. What was I looking at the other day? I can't remember if it was on Twitter, but there was two footballers going back and forward, and it was pretty juicy to be in the comments flicking down.
Yeah.
Now imagine how juicy it would be to be in the comments, to be flicking through, listening to the actual audio going back and
level.
forward. Yeah. So there's a whole world to open out in there. I look really forward. I look forward to hearing other people as well. So, and as I said, as people come through and pass through this building, because like martial artists are like travelling nomads, you know what I mean? They're kind of on the journey, and I'm gonna grab people as much as I can and bring them in here and interview them and ask them about what their experiences are in fighting, and even guys that come along with them that are not competitors, and ask them what it's like to be with these people and stuff like that. There's lots of information out there. The thing I like about this is that it's your own story, so you can literally it's like chewing gum for your ears sometimes, you know what I mean? You're listening to a conversation as it's going down. So as I said, the kind of approach I'm going to take to it is asking people questions that you normally wouldn't ask people. Now, some of it's going to be fun, some of it will be a little bit serious, and but the most important thing is that I want to make sure that nobody gets offended about it. Now, if you get offended, sometimes that happens as well. Yeah. But I'm not going to call anybody in, and I'm not going to put them on the spot and offend them as it is, you know. But an example of one of the questions would be, so you're a draw to them, so draw to the girls or Dublin girls, and why?
Draw the girls or Dublin girls, depends on what part of Dublin they're from.
And you know what? I know exactly what you mean. Good answer. Kicking the bollocks or a dig in the ear?
Kicking the bollocks or a what?
Or a dig in the ear?
Dig in the ear.
Have you ever got a dig in the ear? A dig in the ear is rough. If anybody's out there that competes or is a fighter, they know it's a dig in the ear.
Well, you know, right, I'll take your advice then, kicking the bollocks.
Kicking the bollocks is not as bad as a dig in the ear. So, they won't be too personal, but some of them will be personal. Some of them will be the ideas of, so say Ireland has passed like gay marriage, which is a great thing. It's a great see society kind of evolving in that way, and it would be great to invite people from all different kind of parts of society and ask them questions. Ask them questions on stuff that you probably wouldn't even think, and all of course like people that are viewers and listeners and people that have ideas and people that have their own questions that they would be too shamed to ask.
Yeah, no shame.
I will ask them. Let's have no shame.
No shame. No, sounds very exciting. Like it's like you say, it's you mentioned we're at a kind of crossroads in our life and an evolution of our story, and this will help me, but most definitely help you document that story and that change. And it's early days for Lemur. I'm very excited for the future. It's early days of your new business and establishment here, which is great. Big things coming from this, from everything I've seen and heard. It's very exciting times, and like you say, you're going to have some very interesting people coming into this place. Definitely.
So we're actually on that. There will be announcements in the next few weeks, but the next plan is huge. Yeah. The first ideas that I've been doing after I retired were kind of finding the roots of things, but this is definitely probably the kind of the finished product. So as I said, I've kind of set up martial arts facilities and kind of journeys with along with a lot of kind of really, really, really established people. So now this is my own one, on my own ideas. I'm going to leave some mistakes behind. I'm going to learn from a lot of the stuff that I've done before. But the most importantly is as you said, the conspiracy is to grow another community for me. So it's to grow a community of people that are in a like-minded kind of situation. So how I view it is that exercise, as you know, as being an athlete, is very important for the mentality and for your mental health. But a lot of the things that people don't see is the social side of it. So I know that if I go to the gym and I'm running on a treadmill or something like that, and I haven't communicated with anybody, so say a normal generic gym in a way, I'm in the car park and I'm really talking to myself and, yeah, that was great, you did this, you could have done another minute, Paddy. You know what I mean? But I noticed that when I grapple or I wrestle or I do anything that is like social as well, so physical and social together kind of brings us back to primal times. If you must, you kind of exercise the both parts of your body that need to be exercised. And when I do that, I'm usually in the car park and I'm kind of in a zen nearly, you know, I'm not talking to myself and I'm just kind of like listening to music and I'm in the moment then. So to me, that's what I want to bring. It's not about creating fighters. It's about gathering a lot of people into a community that kind of get lost, and you do get lost. That's the way it is. You don't know what to do. If you're, say, 30 to 40 years of age, it's very hard to go and make new friends there and stuff like that, where this is a platform for me to be able to bring a community together. I'm not going to overflow it either, so there's going to be a certain cap on membership. So if I get 350 people, numbers, the right amount, the right people, I'm going to try create and fix that group and give that group the positivity and the thinking. I think that has kind of made me overcome a lot of stuff, and if I can do that with 350 people, I know that that's going to spill over and them 300 people will affect another 300 people, and it'll go on and go on and go on. So as they say, if you're going to make a change, you've got to make that little change in yourself. And I won't say that I've figured out the meaning of life, but I think that I've figured out how to be happy even when you have nothing. So this is what I plan to share on this next journey here through SBG Dublin 24.
Where do I sign up?
He's in.
I'm sold. Yeah.
But actually, here's touching on that. How about your venture when you so Shane retired from rugby? It was no use. No money best. He was pretty good at rugby. But there was one thing that I can vouch from. I got to do his corner on a contestant show called Wimp the Warrior. And what Wimp the Warrior is you join it for 6 months. You start off as a wimp. I don't think Shane was ever really a wimp. And you become a warrior. So you train for 5 days a week. 6 in the morning for an hour, 6 a.m. Is it? You explain. Shane explain.
Yeah, fantastic. Like when I was in Munster, I didn't get renewed my contract. I was I was at that crossroads in terms of the rugby. I wasn't really enjoying it anymore, which is never a good sign. And there's a few kind of things on the table to go back to England that I wasn't too keen on. And I love MMA. You know, Everton, and obviously in Ireland is a hub in the world. You know, and it was something I always wanted to try. I actually did my first jiu-jitsu back in 2010.
Wow.
And I did a few classes and I loved it, and this was before pre-season started for rugby, and I said, I'd love to do this a bit more, but you know, when you're contracted in rugby, you just cannot do any of that stuff. So I said, this is my opportunity now, and it's not a case of, you know, walking in on my own, this was an actual set protocol where you have a fight at the end, you know, and it's dictated for you, and it was structured, so it wasn't a case of me coming from professional rugby where your life is structured, where I'm completely on cold turkey. So you're going from professional athlete to nothing, and it's like, oh,
I know that
it was. I said, this is a great opportunity for me to do something new that I always wanted to do in an extremely professional environment, because like it was under John Kavanagh, you know what I mean, one of the best coaches in the world,
100%.
And in SBG, the heart of one of the hearts of MMA in Ireland, and I signed up to it, and basically, Wimp to Warrior, the concept is people with no martial arts experience whatsoever. And for a lot of people with no athletic experience, you know, with a lot of them that go in there, and you train like an animal for 6 months, and you have a fight at the end.
It's incredible to see, isn't it? You'll be able to touch on this as well, the change in people through just an ordinary Joes coming in and putting themselves outside their comfort zone. What my kind of saying is now that is, go outside your comfort zone with others who have gone outside theirs, you know, because it's a lot more comfortable that way.
Big time. And like the guys, Richie Cranny is the guy that came up with it, and he's done a fantastic job. And even since we were involved, like my one, it's almost a year now. In August is going to be a year since that fight, which is ridiculous.
I think the older you get, the years go quicker.
It's crazy, but it's just absolutely exploded. And I've no doubt that it's going to be like the X factor of MMA, if you get me.
Yeah.
That's the way it's going. But anyway, I did that 6 months training, and the thing I loved about Wimp to Warrior and the MMA, I got to learn a new skill set, be involved. There's a lot of similarities between rugby and MMA because they're so physical. Yeah. You know, and you don't go in half-hearted or you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. 100%.
So that I was quite used to that in that regard. So I adapted very well. But a huge thing that's similar as well is the community. Like the rugby community is a very close-knit, tight community, and in general, people, if you're a rugby player, you get on with other rugby players because you need a certain mindset to play rugby, because it's a sport where you can literally die on the field. People have been paralysed, neck down, so you're taking, and you have to look after the guys you're with, and you need to be respectful of the guys you're playing against.
100%.
And that's so similar to the MMA side of stuff, but that creates a bond between people, and that is certainly there in the world of MMA. And I made some friends for life by doing the come on, Robin. What's
Timer, man.
Oh, it's timer up. Well, we'll keep going. We'll finish this. But anyway,
it's like church, no phones.
Yeah, no phones. So some of the guys made friends for life. Like a guy, I was very, very lucky to get to train with guys like Blaine O'Driscoll and Richie Smullen.
Two great guys.
Like Richie in particular, he took a few classes as a coach within this before he turned pro as well, and I got on very well. I really liked him. I could see he's a young guy, but I could see people who have what it takes.
100%.
They have the mental strength and the work rate and the natural ability, and if they don't have the natural ability, they work harder than anyone else. And Richie has all that in abundance, and he's a genuine nice guy. But I went to him because I wanted to do extras and stuff like that. You do your classes, but I wanted to improve my striking and jiu-jitsu and all that. So I did my one-on-ones with him, built up a great friendship with Richie. And that's what Wimp the Warrior gave to me. And as well, I got to get in the cage and do the fight at the end, because it does, like, it's 6 months, but we were like 4 months in, and you're kind of like, I want to fight now, you know.
That's what happens.
And you want to go, and that's the difference between rugby. You train every week, you play every week.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, I trained for 6 months. Sorry, did a bit of spit there.
Good.
Trained for 6 months and fought for 3 minutes.
This is it.
Well, that's the thing, and like that, I got you in my corner. I think it was only the second time I met you. I missed the class where you came in and talked to them. I missed that, yeah. And I met you the first time outside in Tala, and. I was like, oh, Paddy, how's it going? And I said, I missed you. Are you well? And then it's mad, yeah. From
that, I was teaching, and he dodged it that day.
I was nervous going up. I said, fuck, there's Paddy Holohan. Fucking hell. So I went up, and then I saw you again on the night of the fight, and this man was brilliant. Awesome to have him. Absolute honour to have him in my corner. Him and Richie as well. Richie wasn't meant to be in my corner, and he asked if he could, which was great.
Oh, 100%.
To have you two boys there, and I went out and got the win, which was massive as well to get that.
It was huge. And not only that, Shane didn't fight against somebody else that had just competed on the Wimp the Warrior. The guy wasn't able to compete that he was supposed to go against. I think it was something like that. Mix up.
Yeah, there was we could do another podcast on that.
Yeah,
Andy, another great guy.
So he did fight he fought somebody that had fought before and stuff like that, and he fought a guy called Ryan, and Ryan can fight. Ryan has fought a few times. He fought in the European Championships and stuff like that, and and I was a little bit nervous for you on that. To be honest, I was like, he's either gonna win or he's gonna freeze. Yeah, I didn't know which way it was gonna go. But how did you feel with the? Because I know for the fact that no matter how many times you've done it, the minute you close the door, and all of a sudden there's like these little. I think it feels like about 30 minutes, but it's actually about 10 seconds where the guy goes to his corner, you go to your corner, and the referee steps into the middle, and it's just about to go, and he's just about to clap his hands. And you're gonna come out, and it's like, right, I'm gonna punch this other guy in the face now. So, how did you feel? How did you feel about that feeling?
I've been asked this by a few people, and I said, "Well, you're nervous, were you shitting yourself?" And strangely enough, I wasn't. I'm lucky in the sense that I've got to experience playing rugby at the very, very high level in massive. Heineken Cup was one of my big goals, and I got to play in that. And I was a lot more nervous before some rugby matches than I was, which is a strange thing to say, but I think the reason why that was, like in rugby, it's not just you,
Exactly.
There's your teammates, and if you make a mistake, you're letting them down.
Yeah.
And
so it's very easy to fumble a ball.
Yeah, and all that. There's a lot of things that are outside of your control.
Yeah.
Especially the rugby ball.
That's what I was just about to say.
Like, oh shit.
The shape of the ball is outside your control.
Exactly, but when I was going in for my fight, I was 100% prepared. I had done 6 months I knew that I was going to win, and when I was after training as much as I did with Richie, I'd done all the class, and I was with Richie, and we had done our kind of, I suppose, a game plan or whatever way you want to call it, and he said, "This is what you need to do, bang, 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 bang," And you know, he was great for my confidence. Is you no problem, you're going to kill this guy. So I said, yeah, I'm going to kill this guy. And I went out. And
made the decision.
I made the decision, and it was funny. Listen, of course you've nerves.
Of course.
Of course you've nerves, but it wasn't a case of, oh, fuck, I'm shitting myself. It was just, but it's funny, when I was with you, you were talking to me, I could hardly even hear what you were saying. Because you go into sometimes you get it in rugby, not every game, but when you do it, usually they're your best rugby matches. You just go into a different place and you just kind of, like a robot, you just, and that's what it was like for me. It was just like, and we were there into the corner, you were talking in my ear, and I was like, yeah, just go into the corner, boom, boom, and it was just like, right, in, leave with the left, you know, bang, all this in my head, and that was it.
You killed it.
And yeah, I got the job done, but saying that, the minute we got pulled, the round was over, like, I was on top and I got pulled, you boys were pulling me over to the corner, and I didn't know whether I was going in for the second round, and I was fucked. I don't think there's only one time I ever was as bad as that, and that's when I almost died due to heat stroke, and that's another story.
You told me that story.
That's another story. But I was literally, and then like, you were kind of like, I don't know, has he won? And you're looking at the ref, and it was Redmond was ref, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, no, he's done, and you're like, you won. You
didn't go back out.
Fuck.
That is that.
You know. And it was a great feeling, but the only problem was I couldn't really enjoy it because I was so fucked, excuse my language, but I was in bits and I felt like I was going to get sick.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Shane, on the mic, how do you feel? How you going? And I was kind of like, yeah, it was great, get me the fuck out of here, I'm going to get sick. I didn't want to get sick in the ring. And
you wouldn't be the first.
I got lifted and everyone was like, yeah, they all wanted to talk to me, and it took me, I was in bits. I had to go into the shower, the headache, and it was all the come down of the adrenaline. That's the come down, and it was horrible. And I had to do the fucking protocol for the concussion and all that. And I didn't get to go out, but listen, it was worth it. It was unbelievable.
Press conferences and stuff like that after is pretty hard as well. But the getting sick part is actually something a lot of people don't know. If you get sick in a fight, it's a variable tap. It's a tap. Like.
Is it actually?
Yeah. So if you get sick at a time, now I've been times where I've swallowed a ball or two. And I've seen other people getting sick as well, so you're not on your own, Shane. You're on your own.
Great.
So at that, we're just going to wrap this up. So that's the first kind of I want to say podcast or DIY or social audio cast or whatever which way you want to call it. Words will be created, same way words like a selfie will be created. Will it be
exactly? Yeah.
There's so many different words that can be created.
The social audio is a big thing. We'll just touch on that before we finish up as well. Like if you have any, this is the beauty of it. If you have any questions for Paddy and you want to interact with him, you can literally leave a voice comment underneath. For anyone who's used WhatsApp, the voice commenting section, that will give you an idea what it is. You literally listen to this and you can comment to Paddy underneath, you can tag him, he'll get the notification and he can verbally reply back to you. So it's like having your number without having your number.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is good. So like going forward with Paddy's No Shame podcast, social audio, if you have any questions, if you want to interact with him, you can get in touch with him that way. If you want more information on Lemur itself, you can go to www.lemur.ie. You can download the app for free from the App Store. Currently, it's just on iOS, on Apple. The Android initial design has begun, so we're hoping to have that as soon as possible. But you're going to be able to get this content on YouTube as well. You're going to be able to get exclusive content. Will just be on the app that Paddy will be making his. Like this is his flagship podcast, No Shame. But he's going to be, because it's on the go, he can create content anywhere, anytime. So if he's
it drops, we will do it.
As it drops, like he'd be walking down the street. I always use this example, and he could bump into Barack Obama. Hey Barack, come here, give me 5 minutes of your time. and he does a recording on the street, takes a selfie with him, because you can upload images to this as well. Puts it out there. So if you want that content, make sure you download the app as well. So that's it.
So it's been nice talking to you. So
that's it, yeah.
Good night and God bless. Guys.